Welcome back, everyone, for a very anticipated match. We get to see Warlords of the Deep again up against Providence Wizards. This is CCP Fozzie, joined by CCP Rise, and we have this match coming up right now as it's about to begin. Rise, what do you think of these two setups?
I think that it's going to be a really tough match for Providence. They've brought another one of these short-range kind of Galente variations, in this case more Serpentis, I guess, with the 3 Vigilance. They're up against a setup we've seen a few times now on the Worlds of the Deep side, 2 Slipners, Curse, Scimitar, Maulus, the 1 Stealth Bomber, Hound this time with 2 Merlins. That setup has looked very strong. It's looked very strong against this type of opponent. These teams have started very far away from each other, and it's just going to be really difficult for Providence. They're going to suffer under pressure from the Curse all the time they're trying to get closer. They're going to have a hard time not getting split up. Their ships have different speeds, as you were saying before the match started. Be interesting to see what they do. I actually don't expect them to just charge blindly across the field. I mean,
Hopefully
maybe they'll do that, but
yeah, like if they're smart, they won't.
By now they should have seen what happens if you do that, and that gives them a little bit more of a chance if they can kind of, I don't know, at least move in together. But they still just have a huge uphill battle here.
It does kind of look like that's what they're doing. I'm seeing them appear to be orbiting around the Brutix. I think that they are playing this pretty well. You know what would actually have worked a lot better in this matchup is the setup that Providence brought yesterday, which was that Canid setup.
Yeah, double damnation, double sacrilege.
Yeah, that would tank a lot better, and it would have weapons that don't get neutered out by the Curse.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. While there isn't any damage, or at least not a lot of damage going on already in the match, we are seeing a huge E-War fight, or at least some disruption going on. A lot of damps on the Worlds of the Deep side getting thrown over to Algoses, to the Brutix. And then going the other way, there is tracking disruption on both of those Slipners, so that will help mitigate some of the damage that the Providence team will have to deal with.
So while the Providence team is all clustered together in one ball, we're seeing Warlords of the Deep sending their Sleipnirs in first and keeping the rest of the team back. The Sleipnirs are essentially going to be trying to tank the damage, moving in and applying damage themselves, and they're going to try to keep the vulnerable ships far behind. We'll see. It looks like they're engaging the Sleipnirs rather than trying to move past them. What do you think that's the best choice in this case? Do they try to burn past the Sleipnirs, or they're kind of in a tough
They have a really tough set of options there. I think that this is not a bad one. I don't think it's necessarily obvious that they shouldn't go for the Slipners. It's just going to be very difficult for them either way. They either have to let their team get split up really badly and probably spend a lot of time chasing around logistics, or they have to hope they can break a Slipner, which is looking very difficult for them at this point. And they haven't lost a ship yet, which is a good sign. Just kidding, they lost an Algos.
Well, they did kill Merlin, though.
All right.
Those Algoses, I think, were the ones that did that. They, I think, went and hunted down the Frigs, which is good. If they can win that support battle, then they can use those against the Hound and take that damage off the field.
And we are seeing Providence doing something good here that we saw a couple matches, or last match, I guess, with the Rampage team. Using medium rep drones. Those Vigilance and the Brutix have 50 M3 drone bay each, or drone bandwidth, so they're able to use rep drones to hold up their armor a little bit more effectively, which is nice because that doesn't get affected by the Curse's cap pressure, so that's good. We'll have to see if they're able to actually hold the tank. The Oniros is now tackled for the Providence team, and that's definitely bad news.
If I was them though, I would really, really want the Sleipnirs to be dropping faster than this. With a damage team like this, your blaster damage against newts in a Curse, you need stuff to be dying faster than this.
Yeah, definitely. They did get a tackle now on this Curse. You can see logistics got thrown over to him by the Scimitar almost immediately. I don't know how many ships they actually have close to that Curse. I don't know if it's all the Vigilance or maybe just one of them, but they're going to see if they can break him, which isn't a bad idea. I mean, if they break him, it takes all the cap pressure off. But in the meantime, they've lost their logistics in the form of that Oniro, so that's definitely bad news.
Duncan Tanner does now have pretty much the entire CVA team on top of him. The Vigilance and the Brutix are all there. So that's going to be a much more vulnerable ship. I mean, it is much, much lower tank than the Sleipnir, but it's actually still tanking really well. The fact that it hasn't died already is a really good sign. They've been able to trade already a Brutix, or a Vigilant, and they're going to move on probably to do some more Vigilance while they try to jam out that Brutix.
And we're seeing this Curse do the same thing we saw in the last match where there was one. I don't remember which match it was, but it doesn't seem to have any tracking disruptors fit, which means it's using all those mids for tank and for generating cap for itself, so it can do more things, and that's working out really well. A nice bump there. You saw Slipner come in and charge one of those Vigilants out away from the Curse, but the Curse is tanking just fine anyway, and in the meantime, Vigilant number 2 is about to drop for the Providence team. I'm
very impressed by the tanks on all of the Warlord ships. It's possible that this Curse is like heavily over-tanked, but I'm not sure. We'll have we won't see the setup unless it dies. But that is impressive that it actually held up under a Brutix and 2 Vigilance that were live pounded on it.
We did actually used to see, I don't remember which tournament, but there was a tournament in the past where there was a lot of setups that were running 1 curse and 1 logistics, and there was often a choice about which one to kill first, and people started running bait curses that wasn't all
like
that
an extra
uncommon.
large shield booster on a curse, yeah.
And in this case, that's probably not what's going on, but nonetheless, the tank's very strong.
Yeah.
And really, we haven't seen, other than the Merlins, the HP move on any of the Warlord ships since the match started. I mean, little tiny dents like right there, the Slipner taking just a bit of damage, but as soon as the reps go over, that'll come right back, I'm sure.
Yeah, this may indicate that after basically firing into those Sleipnirs and taking the cap pressure from the curse, that the blaster ships for Providence just don't have the cap to fire, and that may be why they're not really... Yeah, so we had a little bit of an issue with the timers on your screen there for a while, but it is working again now. So you see we do have 4 minutes and 49 seconds left. Not that we're going to need that
Doesn't matter. Brutix about to go down. There we go. Warlords winning in very commanding fashion over Providence Wizards, who will now drop to the losers bracket, and we'll see them next week.
Yep.
As well as Warlords. So we'll be back after a few ads to talk to you guys about that match and some other things, I'm sure.